In August 2010, the University of Delaware hosted the first annual Undergraduate Research and Service Celebratory Symposium, showcasing the collaborative efforts of the Summer Scholar programs. 4 history undergraduate students participated in the Summer Scholar program and presented their research in an oral session moderated by John Hurt, Chair of the History Department.
Vivian Corbett, who is a senior, majoring in history and English with a minor in classics, a formidable program. She's treasurer of the History Honor Society, president of the English Honor Society. She's worked under my colleague, Dr. Daniel Callahan, with assistance from our valued retired colleague in foreign languages, Gerald Cully. The topic of her talk is Hroswitha as representative of the 10th century Renaissance. Vivian Corbett. Our second student speaker is Mr. Michael Dickinson. He's a senior majoring in history, a McNair Scholar, working under the direction of Professor Peter Kolchin, who is here today.
Now, the first question I asked myself in order to answer my larger research question was, what exactly is emancipation? Well, the definition of emancipation that I used for my research was simply the act of removing from oppression or bondage. So why does this all matter? Well, through a comparison of the legacy of emancipation in the United States and Australia, we can better understand their individual legacies. The comparative examination of the two periods can also help us to better understand the impact of emancipation in other countries.
Our next presenter is Ms. Brenna James. She's a history major and a political science major and has a concentration in global studies. She's been on the Dean's List every semester and is naturally a member of our History Honor Society, Phi Alpha Theta.
These authors and historians tend to focus their attentions on the relationship between the Church and the Second Spanish Republic mainly, as well as Spanish history, in understanding why exactly over 6,800 priests were murdered in the first 6 months of the Spanish Civil War. That drew me to my first research goal, which was to understand why did this conflict occur. And thank you to my mentor and my family.
Finally, I'd like to introduce Ms. Colleen Thurley. She's a senior majoring in history with a good deal of work in German. She's a humanities scholar working under the direction of Professor James Brophy.
In the fall, I'll continue my research by again looking at the Daily Herald, forebears, and parliamentary minutes. I'll include what I've learned this summer in my senior thesis, along with basic information about eugenics movements in Great Britain, Germany, the United States, and France. Finally, I hope to further investigate the beginnings of the eugenics movements in the 19th century. And I would like to thank my advisor, Dr. Brophy, who could not be here today, but who has been so helpful during the course of the summer. I would also like to thank Meg Myman and the Undergraduate Research Department for the opportunity to do this research.
And a very special round of applause for our 4 presenters, who I thought each did an outstanding job.